I'm Andy Needham. I'm the External Relations Officer for UNHCR in the Dadaab refugee camp. And right now, the Dadaab is said to be the largest refugee camp in the world, commencing in the early 1990s. As people may be aware, there hasn't been a functioning government in Somalia in that time. And many of those people have crossed the border and fled their country, Somalia, into Kenya, and they are now residing in Dadaab refugee camps.
It's 400,000 people living in horrible conditions, out in the middle of one of the most inhospitable parts of the world, literally living under twigs and pieces of paper for roofs.
It could very well be the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today, but there's been virtually no coverage of it.
The camps were built in the early 1990s. There are actually three camps. They're called Ifo, Dagahali and Hagadera. And they were built only to accommodate and cater for 30,000 people each. So at present there are almost 3 times that number in each of them. So it's 3 times the capacity that the camp was designed and built for are now living here. So you can imagine the constraints and how congested and overpopulated the camps are. We have the capacity to register, on average, about 500 new arrivals per day. When people arrive, ideally they should present themselves to the registration centre in Dagahali. In reality, they are arriving at all different times, arriving during the night. When they register, their details are taken. We take biometric, electronically we capture their fingerprints and a picture of them digitally, and we put that into a database so that all their records and details are stored. They're then issued with a ration card, a unique number ration card, which allows them access to food distribution. These people are queuing up so they can be processed by GTZ for immunisation. When we speak to the refugees when they come in, we do profiling as such, talk to them. What's being cited is insecurity. What I mentioned, that there's just been one trigger incident, either fighting or an explosion. Explosion is the terms which is described. Also food insecurity and drought. And when you put all those 3 things together, they're a pretty big push factor to make people leave Somalia.
هوبيها ku soo dhacay intaas oo ilmo jiifaan ku dhinta ilmo ku xamre jira sagaal waa tan aan soo qabsaday hoobiyaha daarka waa carab.
Somali people in general tend to put a lot of emphasis and value on education. They really value it, and a lot of people, when you talk to them, they've come here because they want an education for their children, and that's not possible right now in Somalia. We need additional secondary and primary schools and other vocational and adult education centres within the camps. Those children who do go to the schools have the possibility, it's a small number admittedly, of perhaps winning scholarships, and indeed we've had a number of refugees who've gone on to 3rd level to university scholarships in North America and Europe and so on.
If I complete high school, I want to go to a university, and after university I want to learn a medicine course, as my career is to be a doctor, and after that I want to be a doctor so that I can help people. If peace prevails in Somalia, I wish to go there and assist that people who are suffering, encourage them, just to give them hope so that they also can be a good professionals.
She was described as like a ray of hope and a ray of light. It would be fantastic if someone who had come and grown up and went to school in the Dadaab refugee camp could go on and achieve that dream.
It is the 4th or 5th largest city in Kenya, technically. And the people can't leave this refugee camp because they're caught in this political limbo.
Ultimately, obviously, a peaceful and stable Somalia is the answer so that people can return home. And from the people that I often speak to when I go into the camps, they do express a wish that they do wish to go home to Somalia. They wish for peace. They have fled because where they lived was not peaceful.
People are afraid they won't go back into Somalia. We need to get these people out of there and into some sort of sustainable existence, whether or not it's literally starting a new city in Kenya where there's 400,000 Somalis, or finding a way to get people safely back. But by this point, some of those people have lived there for years and for decades. So it's one of those problems that's just not going away, and it's going to get worse.